Hey guys, it's your boy Rakesh. Oh, no, wait. It's your boy Unique Content back with another video trying to, fill up these uploads that I haven't been doing, unfortunately, because I'm a dumbass again. So yeah, I recently watched Trigun with my boy Legato 2400. And if you want to avoid spoilers, please stop clicking on the video right now because I'm going to get into this heavy spoilers right now. I'm just going to do a quick review on it. Just going to do a quick review on it, and yeah. Just gonna do a quick review, and yeah, just so yeah. Now, story. Trigun is essentially a story. It starts with like a slice of life. Not like as in a pure slice of life, of course, but like as an episodic structure, right? Like any fucking series out there. Usually back in the '90s and the early 2000s. These episodic series where every episode there's a story, and there's a lot of mystery on Vash and Wolfwood and all those characters that show up. Meryl and Millie don't do much in the series, but yeah, I'm talking as in background. We get more about Wolfwood towards the end of the series. Same with Vash. Actually, Vash's story takes up the entire last 10 or 9 episodes of the series. Obviously, not every episode, but it takes a bigger part. It's a bigger part of the story towards the end. And yeah, and his brother, Knives. Their story takes a big part of season 2, or sorry, the second half of season 1, which is one season. The story is pretty good. Obviously, you'll have these off episodes. There are some fan service episodes. I think the best thing about Trigun, the anime at least, because I have not read the manga, is definitely the selling point is the comedy. The comedy is it's fucking fantastic. Like I'm a big comedy guy. Like I've watched a lot of rom com and all these things, and um, like Trigun's comedy, especially Vash, like especially towards the beginning, it's fucking fantastic. Like I was bursting out laughing during the first few episodes. It wasn't story heavy. I was just I had my mind off, and yeah, it was a fun fucking experience. I'll tell you that. So yeah, I think the story, and then obviously the second half, it gets a little darker. It gets a little grimmier. You see, um, Vash's and Wolfwood's backstories are pretty dark. They contain some sensitive topics as well. And then you just see how lifeless and kind of gloomy in a sense Vash really is. He's kind of an empty person, which is very iconic, by the way, since he's a plant. So it's iconic how a improvised human plant, or well, not a plant, but like an improvised plant who brings life to humans and brings life to cities is well just lifeless in a sense. That's a nice duality, and then you see Wolfwood, who has lived his entire life just based on providing and protecting people, but in his own way. So um, Vash believes that even if it means killing himself for the sake of others, and as long as they don't experience the pain that he has experienced in his past, and the loneliness and loss and the emptiness that he's experienced throughout his life, as long as he's able to protect those people that and make up for it, since he has a bounty on his head and everything. I think that's the most intriguing part about Vash. And towards the end, you see him. Now again, it's a little annoying, like how it's kind of my grip with most anime in general to do these sort of like morality character arcs, kind of like Goku, right? Where it's like the villain, obviously super evil, challenging the main character that we know and love, and it's just like it's a bit not inconsistent. It's brought up way too much that it just becomes uninteresting. But Vash's development is definitely subtle in general. Like I would say Vash is definitely one of the best main characters I've seen, and I've enjoyed him. His comedy, to then discovering his backstory, to then him relying more on his friends, and finally putting an end to the pain that he suffered with by killing his brother. And well, he's known that he's finally that flower scene is was symbolism to him moving on from Rem. I think Rem was a bit of a curse and a good thing for him, right? Like Rem had everything special for him. She made him the person he was, but she also kind of cursed him with this overflowing kindness. He kind of forgot himself in the middle, and he forgot that sometimes, even if you kill and you get blood stains on your hand, it's necessary to protect the people you care about. But yeah, again, like when you're empty and you're lost in life, it happens. But that's what Marilyn Milley kind of served. They kind of brought him back on his feet in a sense, and they made him rediscover the purpose in life. And Wolfwood's clash ideology, especially towards the end, because I mean, Wolfwood, we don't really get much about him until like upon his death in towards like the final 4 or 5 episodes. We get his story and why he is and why he killed that kid when he killed that kid from the Gohu gun and all that crazy shit, right? You get these, you get the like just duality of both these characters and how they shape to be the way they are. Vash was a plant that he wasn't welcomed by Earthlings. He was scared. He was alone. He didn't know what to do. He was able to fit in because of Rem. He learned kindness, and that was all snatched away by his own fucking blood, his brother. And he's had to adapt to it, and he's had to adapt to being hated by everyone to spread the peace and love. Right? He's taken the hate of the world. While Wolfwood is a character, right, that has always had to defend himself. He's always had to live the hard life. He never had anyone to show him the right path in life, right? But he knew that if he wanted to, no, it's not really like indicated in the anime, but like it's just my assumption probably that he was abused as a kid. But like we get the first scene of his backstory is him killing his guardian, so it's probably going to be like I don't know his foster father or whoever it is abused him, and then he just got rid of them, right? And then he from there on he just becomes a gunman and someone who uh, through killing and indecent acts in a sense, right? He provided for kids, and he has made a like he's made like a temp, like a safe place for them for these kids of no homes to return to. And the first thing, I mean, the most interesting part of the first episode he's introduced. You see Bash and Wolfwood's interaction, and you see Wolfwood instantly noticing how they're both kind of similar, as in they both have the emptiness in them, right? But in just different manner. So, like Vash's emptiness comes from just how pure and innocent he is, but uh, Wolfwood's pain and suffering comes from the fact that he had, obviously the things he went through, but the best way was what he did is he tried to repent with his sin. He justified his actions by saying that, I'm doing this for the better good of the people. And then that's why when he finally saw Vash's methods and Vash's methods started wearing on him, he broke down. He had that fight with Vash because he couldn't understand, like, how can someone be so pure? Like, because he never had that, right. But then again, Wolfwood never had Rem in his life, so it makes complete and utter fucking sense. He never had someone who showed him that kindness, right? And you know, Vash, as much as the Kumi have been a bit cruel to him in general, like they were still like family to him. Wolfwood never had that, so they're both hurting. Just it doesn't show as much with Wolfwood, right? Because he's more of not stagnant, but he's more of a cold blooded kind of like I'm gonna do this the mission type of guy. While Vesh is more obviously he focuses on his feelings rather than what's the best course of action. While Wolford that focuses on more the logic and the emotions. So it's the typical sort of like yin and yang. Just there's a bit more of a mix here between both ideologies. So Vash is just the type of character who loves to spare people, and then that's when you see his development. Wolfwood's death, and Wolfwood actually. So the duality again is Wolfwood became Vash towards the end, and when he did, he got fucked right. But the moment Wolfwood, Vash became like Wolfwood, he actually was able to beat his brother and put an end to his brother's acts, and buy Wolfwood's gun. So it was a combination of logic and emotion in these final episodes that you just see all put together, and it's phenomenal how it's done. Um, and Vash was solo; he was about to give up on life, and obviously Meryl stopped him from doing so. He was very close to he just reached his breaking point. Um, the show actually tackles depression and emptiness and things like that in a pretty interesting manner. I'm not sure whether it's a shonen or a seinen, but you have these crossovers of ideas. I think it's probably most likely a seinen, but yeah, it was actually pretty interesting to watch this. It's definitely an old classic, I would say. The characters again, Wolfwood and Vash, their yin and yang is actually very interesting. And towards the end, how they both complete each other and become the best versions of each other, right? But how one caused one's death and how one caused one to be superior in a sense. That's also another thing that life isn't always fair. Sometimes it's you may change late, but hey, it's better late than never. That's another theme of the show. It's better late than never. Vesh may his methods may have caused a lot of people to die for and he may have caused a lot of suffering for people, but hey, he was able to save the other 9,000 people that in that city or the other 1,000. He was able to save that alone is enough to reward himself for right. Like and kind of move on. So yes, suffering. You always have people suffering, but they all have these different ideologies. But friendship can create anything, and by being with someone, you can learn something, and it could improve you as a person. That's another main theme of the show is adapting and improving. Always, that's the best thing about it. Now the villains, again, the story is pretty good, especially the second half. The characters pretty good. Legato was an interesting character. Same with Knives. Knives was pretty interesting. Obviously, the crew. I mean, they were fine. Ram, she was cool. Meryl does improve a bit towards the end. She gets a bit more development towards the end. Millie, she's just lovable. I mean, she's just funny, and she's a bit of a strong female character in a sense. So, well, whether it be in battle, even though she doesn't win much or she doesn't contribute much, she still puts her own way into things, and um, yeah, so Millie is pretty interesting, and yeah, she just I don't know, she has her strong moments in general. So yeah, she's okay. She's pretty decent. Uh, Legato again, he's pretty good. He's a bit basic and stuff, but he does his job as a villain. Knives again, probably one of the better villains in the show. Holy shit, he's cool. The other villains honestly are forgettable. And yeah, the character there's not much going for the characters. Like they're like but the 4 or 5 characters the show manages to fucking do is. I mean, the best thing about the show is the pacing and the themes. The pacing of the show is very standard, but it knows when to pick up and it knows when to slow down a bit. Granted, the beginning is a bit slow, very slow, but after that, the pacing picks up immediately after that. The themes again, uh, it's done very well, as I explained previously. The themes are done very well. You see emptiness, sorrow, loneliness, friendship, overcoming obstacles, hardship, depression, in a sense, giving up on life, not giving, fighting for one's dreams, corrupted world, how to change it for the better. It's never too late to change, and all these themes are explored phenomenally within the series. I mean, uh, again, the world building. I mean, it's done well. It's done, and they give you the infrastructure of the world, and how these worlds are formed and how they're supplied, and yeah, even though it's a contained story, I feel like it's every world is linked in a sense with the way it's all by it's all supported by plants and stuff. So like in that way, we have like the same structure here. The show is simple. It knows where its limits at, and the writer knows what he's not good at, and he didn't step out the boundary. So fair play to him. He did a good job of exploring the series. Some gripes I had with it was, of course, the characters. I think few characters like the villains. They had cool personality, but some of them could have had more stories. Like the Gun Ho Gun. Besides that kid who got killed again by Wolfwood and Knives and Legato, none of them were really interested in that girl. Even then, she didn't get much. She died after like one fight. Um, the gun ho gun were really interesting. They didn't like give me. They were just like plot devices, you know. Like let's get it done, you know, type of thing. Let's escalate. Let's escalate fake stakes because obviously you know Ash is gonna win. It was that type of thing for me. Yeah. So Vash again, he's just able to win against those characters, no problem. Again, Wolfwood again have a few fights here and there, but yeah, they're able to destroy these characters, no problem. Another thing that I liked about the show was definitely, or another problem sorry I had with the show was, you know, the pacing in the beginning. The first half of it could be it. There's a lot of lame episodes. I feel like, and there's a lot of focusing on bandits. I mean, it's like you know, I feel like could have done better in that regard. Yeah, but the second half completely makes up for it, so it's fine. Again, the characters and the story. I think the story, while it does explain a lot of things, and you don't have many questions regarding. There's still a few questions about it, like how Vash is a improved cell plant. How the hell did Vash and Knives end up on the ship with those Earthlings? I mean, they kind of show like footage, so like it's not clearly stated. So yeah, like it could be confusing for a normal viewer. Um, like there are a lot of things like, and I forgot there are a lot of things like just they didn't really mention, and there are like a few plot holes here and there, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's kind of like minor plot holes. So, but yeah, the story definitely does have its issues, especially I mean, but then again, it's an anime that you know it like outran the manga and kind of in its own path, so it's kind of understandable. Again, for 65% filler anime, this is still solid. Like the story still holds up and still linked well, so you have that. And yeah, the ending was great. The beginning also was great. So yeah, I mean, so yeah, overall, Trigun for me, I don't know exactly where it holds up. Um, it's either a 7 or 8 out of 10 for me. I'll probably give it like a 7.5. It's either like in very good, like really fucking good, or like pretty great uh, type of ranking. It's not like a masterpiece, nowhere near. I think it has its issues. I'm talking about the anime here, by the way, and the it's not that great, right? Because like okay, like it's not like holy shit, like you know, like it's not like a mind blowing story or something that would make you go whoa. The characters are sick. All the characters are fleshed out. No, but it does know what it does well, and it does it very fucking good. So, for me, I'll give it an 8 or a 7.8 out of 10. I think it's a very solid rating and a pretty deserved rating for Trigun. Anyways, if you guys that's about it for Trigun. If you guys want more reviews on Trigun or just any other anime, please hit me up in the DMs and tell me. Or I don't know, just comment. You know, tell me what you think. I have more planned. I had more videos recorded, but my fucking old laptop I just replaced it, and all the sources kind of crashed. So I'm using a new laptop now. So yeah, I'm gonna have to you know re like we record these videos and just get them up. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy Unique Content. Signing off. Peace, love you, and I'll see you later. Have a good day, pals.